if you see what's on screen. Sorry if the 18 plus and manga spoilers is not very seeable. I had to write that one down while making this. Sorry, but I'm really proud of this little picture I made. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy, and please do keep aware that everything on screen is what happens in this book. So please and thank you, and thank you for listening, guys. Now let's begin. Warning everyone who is listening to this. This is going to have some spice and I'm going to blush. Oh my god, no. I do have to give that quick warning. Why am I doing this? I have to do this. Okay, let's continue. In the sound pillar, a board from Lates sprawled out on a silk-covered bed. He threw his head back, eyebrows scrunched together. Oh god. At his groans, the two-toned-haired woman sped up her actions, moving her head and hands faster. Maroon eyes rolled back before closing. Yin's eyes flashed across his mind. Feeling him twitch, she pulled her head back. Oh my god. Why am I doing this? I'm sorry. Yin, arms clenching, the body trembling, he released onto his chest. Maiko grunted, displeased appearing on her face. Yin, again? You know how I hate when you say someone else's name when you're with me. The two-tone-haired girl pouted. She crawled up the bed and sat next to him. Who even is she anyways? Uzui smiled, using her shirt to wipe his excrete off his chest. My soon-to-be wife, the sound pillar grinned. Makio narrowed her eyes and hummed. Laying down, she stopped to think about a certain hair-colored girl, thinking about the Yin that she met and got to know. She thought that she wouldn't mind having another co-wife if it was her. If she was being honest, she kind of hoped that the hair color woman was one he was looking for. Makio grew a bit excited at the thought of Yin joining their family. However, what she didn't know that with Yin, Uzui wouldn't have to need for anyone else. Beside a toppled train, two demon slayers watched helplessly as the flame pillar fought with Upper Moon 3. Tanjiro and Inosuke clenched their teeth, barely able to witness the movements of the fight. They were incapable of catching an opening, the two fighting on a completely different dimension. As more runes approached on the flame pillar, the young demon slayers felt increasingly anxious. In comparison, the grin of the demon's marked face grew wider, despite the clear difference in abilities. Rengoku did not falter. His stance remained strong, the katana in his hand clenched tightly. You really should become a demon, Kyojiro. Let's continue to fight for all eternity. Both figures launched towards each other, one wielding a katana, the other branching his bare fists. Dust sprung up from the ground. Surrendering the fight with an incompetent certain. With their view obstructed, the fight was no longer within sight of the people on the sidelines. They watched anxiously, waiting for the winner to be revealed. When the dust cleared, three figures slowly approached. The flame pillar laid at the side, a bit away from the fight, while the demon had both arms severed, eyes widened with shock. In the middle of it all stood a woman with a red hori. Akiya-sama foreshadowed this occurring. Hopefully I'm not too late. At her approach, Tanjiro's heart skipped a beat, filled with both relief and worry. He waited for her to next move. Inosuke jumped at her appearance, excited of having another chance to see her fight. Akaza recovered from the shock, eyebrows frowning, as he quickly regenerated his arms. Without pausing, the phoenix pillar quickly threw her nichirin needles, the weapons piercing the arms of the upper moon. With a frown, the demon said, "It is not very nice of you to interrupt a fight between men." Not missing a beat, Yakuza ripped it off his arms, shocking the phoenix pillar. Just as fast as he discarded the limbs, they grew again. "Your poison won't work on me." Yin's eye-colored eyes widened, and she fought the tremble that took her hands. Clenching her katana, she readied her stance. However, the demon just walked away. "I don't fight women, especially weak ones." Weak? In a blink of an eye, Akaza's right leg and arm were severed and fell to the floor. A distance away stood the same woman he underestimated, as if she hadn't even moved. He turned back to her. And oh my god, irritation clear on his face. "I'll have to deal with you quickly then." With speed greater than Rengoku's, she charged forward and slashed at his torso. Despite exacting the attack, Yakuza was unable to expecting the block. Expecting the attack, Yakuza was unable to block. He could not even swing his arms before she retreated away, keeping a distance. At this, his irritation grew further. "I was planning on sparing you, but I've changed my mind." He rushed towards her, arms taunt. She dodged his attacks, using minimal movements to maneuver around his body. Each space she landed was leading the demon further and further away from the injured pillar. Yin glanced at the horizon, fingers twitching in agitation. Each punch Yakuza missed, the more desperate he became to land a hit. Still, the phoenix pillar kept a distance, not letting him touch her. Threatening an attack, Yakuza managed to trick her. He closed the distance, his face close to hers. As the close proximity, Yin felt the muscles in her body lock, her heart stopping. Frozen, the hair-colored girl was unable to counter the punch that sat in her stomach. Blood splattered from her mouth, and she was sent trembling far. Tanjiro cried out to her with worry. If it weren't for his legs that had already lost feeling, he would have been right by her side. Akaza turned away from the woman and strode over to Rengoku's, whose uncontrolled breathing began to falter. "I'm giving you one more chance, Kojiro. Become a demon," he shouted as he stood above the collapsed lair. The flame pillar smiled, but the look in his eyes clearly told the upper moon his answer. Yakuza stood his head with disappointment. With a sigh, the demon lifted up his fist before smashing it down. Yin came rushing in a blur, arriving in front of Rengoku. Akaza was unable to stop his fist. The punch landed right on Yin's head. A crack appeared on the kabuki mask as it was launched off the woman's face. The force of the punch sent her straight into the ground, her ribs cracking when her back hit the floor. The woman's vision blurred as she laid a foot away from the flame pillar. Yakuza kanji marked eyes dilated. "Stop getting in the way, woman." Rengoku, who had turned to look over at his comrades, felt his breath hitch. Her beauty was not at all bridled, but the large amount of blood dripping from her face. Sorry, I have my little bunny here. I'm petting her. Yin's lips trembled at the fear, yet she was shakingly got up, Moving to stand in front of the flame pillar, Rengoku's heart moved at the woman standing in front of him like a guardian angel. Behind her, the sun began to rise over the horizon, painting the sky orange. Yakuza wasn't sure if it was fear of the sun or the sight of her violent figure surrounded by a halo of light that attacked his heart. Recklessly, his heart began to beat further than ever before, and he knew he would regret. Looking at the two strong figures, he snarled before spinning around. He ran forward towards the forest, promising them that it's not far from over. Yin's legs moved to chase after him, but she paused, feeling someone tug on her pants of her uniform. Looking down, her eyes met Rengoku's. With a bright smile, he whispered softly, "Thank you, Angel." As the words slipped out, his eyes closed, and the pillar lost conscious. Yin slowly dropped on her knees at his side, exhausted. Her heart was still racing, and the goosebumps spread all across her skin, and yet to disappear. Yin-san, Tanjiro crawled towards her, her mask in his hands. He quickly tied it back on the woman, not only because of the concern over her bare face, but from his own envy. Tanjiro felt that he should be the only one to see her. Obvious in his thoughts, Yin allowed him to tie it on her, too worried about everything else. She her clasped hands were gentle and light, careful not to touch her too much, in fear of making her uncomfortable. As they were all overwhelmed with exhaustion, no one noticed the yellow eyes watching the hair-colored woman closely from the shadows of the forest. A Taisho-era secret. Yakuza's desires to kill Rengoku increased by Yin's clear attempts to protect him.